if it's gonna catch the interest, you know. Gonna fish for 3 weeks? So probably, we'll see. I don't know exactly what it's gonna be about. Like I haven't played the original, you know, like the well, any RuneScape really. So I'm kinda actually curious how it is. I don't really mind trying. Maybe it's gonna be my jam, maybe not. Who knows? I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. I'm gonna give it a go. It makes me kind of like all this fiesta and like the ping in Ragnarok makes me sad that we didn't hop on the Throne Liberty train. Would be nice to play like also with Riz and the boys. But yeah, it was kind of like an inconvenient starting time. I was on my IRL streams galore, then was move and everything, so was kind of like busy with all the things to hop on that one. But yeah, would be nice if it could rather just play that instead. Yes, like I would be able to play too, but yeah, with the VPN logic, you could. I kind of didn't really want to also bother with that, to be honest. That also was one of the downsides why I didn't want to, because messing with all the VPN stuff, not that fun. In Lost Ark, I remember at some point all the tourists with VPNs they just banned in the end, which also ended up with like a lot of people actually being banned. I mean, it's not too bad actually to play with VPN if you have the proper VPN. Like if you have like something like exit lag, even for example, like that actually is good. You get a better ping, and you know it actually works for you. That is not bad. With free one, yeah, with free one is gonna be pain. With free one, I wouldn't even try probably. With free one, I probably wouldn't even try. I have the proper one. Ah, I see. Well, that's how I played Lost Ark. That's how I played Lost Ark back on European release and like no global release. I mean, there was the way. That was alright actually. Like no problems, nothing. But yeah, like I kind of quit already, and probably like few weeks after, I think, one of my viewers who was also playing, was playing with VPN from Russia. They said they got banned. Yes, yeah. Yeah, if they would release like a little later, like right now, for example, like dude, I would be all over it, man. Honestly, because I am like really in the mood for like some MMOing, but like pink kind of like sours it a bit in Ragnarok. And I don't know if Brighter Shores will be something I will get like into it super much. We'll see. I mean, I hope, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I kind of can't see like when I abstract myself, right, and look at it from the third person perspective. I can't really see the appeal of like the RuneScape for me personally. But maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. Yes, this like I see. Being is giga annoying. True. I mean, I kind of like got used to it, like kind of offset for it, and well, to be honest, the game in general, like not the most, not the smoothest experience. One second. Yogurt is not that good. It's because it's expired by a day. Well, milkshake rather, I guess. It's just in general kind of tastes kind of not that boga. So yeah, I'm not gonna finish just in case. And they'll live on the toilet thereafter. Get some local Uzbekian cheeps though. Actually pretty decent. Actually pretty decent. Throw something in. Then maybe some tea a bit later. We'll see a little bit. Yes, the maintenance is too long. Wait returning today. It looks like. But yeah, how's it going? Razor to ratio? No money low. I'm pretty sure it's into Westeros. I'll bet. Shibra pipeline. Yeah, not sure about that one. I mean, we'll see. Maybe I like the concept, but yeah, Albion actually ironically was looking into European release of Albion with new servers and stuff. I wanted to try, but yeah, never really got into it. Never really got to it. Let's see what I see. Not that similar. Well, we'll see. Well, like, you know, in wide strokes, kind of. Like with all the jobs and stuff, right? Grinding a bunch and everything. Yes, he's like I say. Will all the trading actually be locked in the past, though? I thought some trading will be allowed, though. Oh yeah, if you're in high level zones, you're gonna get destroyed for sure. Like it's if you pretty much any PvP game really, like with some sort of zones. With PvP, you're just gonna get destroyed every time. We're gonna be camped there. A big red X for trading and free to play, alright. That's kind of weird. I thought that was kind of supposed to be allowed. You just kind of like limited to amount of like, you know, professions you can take. So you will be kind of like still part of the economy, you know. No, serious, let's see. So like free-to-play player is still gonna be, you know, this like specialized part of economy that will be focused on those jobs. Feeding the market with their production and then buying stuff from players who actually pay and stuff. Well, Soul Center depends on the kind of like actually no combat content, I guess. Now, how will that go? Will there be groups? Will there be some point in groups? Will the combat in general be interesting, you know? Also something that is important. Yeah, trade on lunch probably not even gonna be a thing. Yeah. Like I wonder how PPG in general the launching experience will be. Did it ease them?
Hello everyone, I'm Kate.
And I'm Hans.
And you're watching Save and Sound, a Steam music festival where we celebrate the often unnoticed aspect of games, which is music and audio design.
Starting with buffering, come
Yesterday, we watched the content of 46 games, and if you didn't catch that, you can always watch it back on YouTube.
Hans
Today,
without the
for the next 5
today,
hours, we'll have the pleasure of walking you through another exceptional amount of games, 42 games. We'll watch anything from a tiny desk concert to a deep dive about word sounds, and I personally can't wait. Alongside this stream, there is a Steam event running. Please go check out the amazing art by our very own artist extraordinaire, Hugo Helle. On the sales page, we have over 80 game sales, 50 demos, and many soundtracks just for you, so you have a little look-see. We'll be hosting a key giveaway in chat as well, so please keep an eye out for that. We have 40 games that gave us keys for this very purpose, so big shout out to them.
We actually also have some keys to give away
let's
that
move
they
on.
shared.
Hans, what we'll have to watch
I was kind of thinking maybe to
I hope y'all are ready for another day of music,
so
so
the cherry
I
stream
think we
or
should
something.
just get into it. We'll be starting our day with Incolatus Don't Stop Girly Pop. Yes, the video is as good and insane as the
Yeah, it is
name
11
suggests.
for me.
After that, we'll
like
be
yesterday I
watching a
went to bed like 5 a.m. basically local time.
Say that 5 times fast. Then it'll be Tears of Metal with a hilarious and
fall
insightful
asleep for
showcase on
some
the
time.
process of creating music and audio for games.
And then I also
After
woke
that,
up like at
Sundara
10 a.m.
So
So
Eclipses. We'll be doing a chill,
today I'm
tiny
gonna
desk
go
kinda like
probably
concert.
like in a couple of hours.
And then we'll finish up the block with Campervan Make It Home on how they collaborated with a very popular Spanish band to bring their soundtrack to life. Thanks for tuning in to day 2 of Save and Sound.
Let's see,
and
let's see. Yeah, usually I also wake up like around that time, so yeah. I pretty much went to bed like hour or two before I usually wake up. Incolatus. A bufferin. Which? Re. Here comes the Dinksness. Where the gacha songs at, yeah. Need some deep dark fantasy gaming then. Getting way to think, man. I'm gonna fully embrace the way to think now. The Gotch remixes would be kinda dink. Get some proper gaming there. The gacha games and gacha mixes. The color palette is something. Dude, Twitch. Time to get YouTube instead over there. I hope it will be better. Been running over the Ragnarok server, yeah. I mean, when I was disconnected back a few days ago from the server, chat was also disconnecting on Twitch, so...
Hold on, I just lied. Okay.
Shrimpus, browser, Chrome. Chrome. Chrome actually does work like really voice for me here, ironically. I don't know why. Like some sites actually work way better on the Firefox. Like I didn't like here in particular. Like I had no issue like in Georgia or something. I was kind of used to use Chrome for like Twitch stuff. I mean, I logged in and stuff there, right? But in Georgia it was fine, and here like sometimes some sites on Chrome just don't fucking work. Song upsets you a little bit, son. The Guild Wars t-shirt, yeah. Journey. I'm already starting the diary there on the notepad. Why not? I'm gonna leave some chips to my friend. I'm digging too deep there. Gonna remove them.
Hey everybody, this is Rob. And I'm Jeff, and that was Jeff Jennings on the drums.
And we're making a game called Fretless, which is a musical RPG game, but instead of collecting swords and shields, you collect instruments, and your attacks are riffs. A guitar RPG, if you will.
Yeah, a guitar RPG. Like Rob said, you can collect different instruments. You can collect an acoustic guitar, a bass guitar, a synthesizer, and an 8-string. Each one of those has a different sound palette.
What else what else we gonna get?
You build a deck with those, and then you play your riffs in combat, and they all play out and make different music. As you're doing combat, you're making your own music based on whatever riffs you like to play. Enemies also have their own musical skills, and the boss track that we just played to show that each boss has its own unique soundtrack as well.
You can wishlist Fretless on Steam right now. Check it out. We're very proud of it. We think we have something really cool.
And I am going to do a little playthrough of the acoustic guitar.
Finally gonna be back to RPG.
Some of the different musical styles we have in the game, so
I'll let you get to it.
okay.
Might be fun to keep one. I mean, it can be. Why not? That's nice. I need to return to my blog, man. Need to find time to get that. It's actually kind of fun to do. I keep track of the things, you know. Maybe I have the electronic copy of the diary. It'll become the ding book later, you know. Liberty Diary. I mean, because as a content creator, like, you know, public person, I guess, I just kind of don't mind doing it publicly anyway. I used to post regularly on my blog. I need to get back to it. No plane.
What's up, guys? My name is Frank.
My name is Karin.
Electronics can be damaged.
Hi, I'm Karin.
Oh, that's why you back up, you know.
We are the
But on
music
different
team.
sources,
I'm Karin.
Tot pingpong. Ich bin I'm.
Invincible paper, yeah.
Okay, what's up, guys? My name is Frank.
I'm Karin, and we are the team behind the music and the sound design for the game Tears of Metal.
Tears of Metal is a very cool hack and slash roguelike co-op medieval game developed by Papercold, with whom we worked previously on Bloodroots. Now let us show you what we did on Tears of Metal.
Oh yeah, that one.
So the game's music is centered around many themes. There is one that I like particularly. So it's more, it's not joyful, but it's calm. You know, it's when you are in the village and the battle hasn't started yet. So I used a lot my voice to make the music, to create a texture. Sometimes I double it with a choir VST, make a sound very unique, because you know, it's my voice, so it's unique. It's nice to have an identity through the voice. Okay, je vais dire ça.
Okay, so working on that game was a really long, thoughtful process. I really had to
Something is download for you.
deep dive into
I think
the
everything's fine for me.
metal culture, and I really wanted to be authentic in my method, right? So basically method acting for metal. The one thing I learned when you play metal is you really want to down to as much as possible, really get the fat right down to basically everything. You just go, man.
Ah, 70 bucks, alright. Well, Charina for now kinda doing alright. YouTube artist.
It was very nice to work with Francis. I really like work with him. We have complementary styles, so it fits. And,
Transformated 70 HQ, yeah.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Julien, je suis sound designer pour Tears of Metal. J'ai pu travailler surtout sur les ambiances. Je prends ça très très au sérieux. Le détail dans l'ambiance, les petits oiseaux, les petits criquets que vous allez pouvoir entendre. une forêt, c'est tout. C'est une créativité infinie, une forêt. C'est passionnant, mon travail.
Of energy, is quite intense sometimes. He drinks a lot of coffee. Yeah.
So here's a little insight about how we integrated the music in the game. So the more you progress in the game, the more the music gets intense and riled up and hardcore. The way
the record sounds in nature. I mean, that sounds nice though. Just walking around, you know, some people walking around on the hunt for some like pictures and stuff, and you're just on the hunt for sounds.
We were able to play with the structure of the song, and depending what's happening in the game and who you fight and whatever, stuff can change. There's a lot of variability in the music. We recorded many different themes, and the same part can be played over and over again, and you'll hear bagpipes, violin, you'll hear guitar. It's all randomized, kind of
Hunting for smells. Just wait until they get start digitalizing that. There will be like the smell engineers and stuff, you know, smell designers.
I think what we made is pretty solid and very interesting.
How did you recreate, you know, the smell of hell? Oh, it just, you know, it's like my 3-day soaks, you know, with some sour milk and stuff like that. We just mixed it all, and then I captured it, put a couple of filters on top of that, and boom, there it is. True and or true.
Outside Montreal, we want to achieve the best musical result as possible, and that's why we record as many instruments as we can. Most of them we record ourselves, like guitar, bass, violin. We also definitely wanted to record a bagpipist, bagpiper. The bagpipe is a diatonic instrument, meaning you have bagpipes in A, in B flat, in D, and for the bagpiper, root note will always be an A. Fortunately, I play the harmonica, which is the same concept. So my question is, if you need to write a score of a song that is in D and starts with a D, for a bagpipe in D, then the first note you have to write
Deep dark fantasies.
That's pretty simple, right? I don't know why I'm the only one who understands this.
I also was the lead audio designer for the game, so I implement all of the systems. Julien helped also a lot. Cool kid, very cool kid. And I was lucky because I got help from the whole team pretty much. We made like the battlefield ambiances. They all came in the studio and they screamed.
It's like French Canadians working on a game about Scotland.
That's it, guys. We hope you liked the video. Make sure to wishlist Tears of Metal on Steam.
Join their Discord channel to give them some love and support. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hug a stranger, say hi to your mom, and enjoy Save and Sound Festival.
Bye!
Bye, guys!
Doing stuff. He looked interesting too on this show before. Game looks fun. Hope for another boiler room set. Yeah, that was good shit, man. That was good shit. Drodgie. Seven B's. It's recording in the studio. Right where they develop. More of them think instruments. I need some more thing stuff. In Heroes they also had like some, when I watched like the concerts and everything, they had some very interesting shit to go into. Hope they're gonna get the Heroes composer for the new Heroes game, even though it's not Ubisoft now and stuff. Would be nice if he would join. Come on, Twitch. Joining 7TV in dying. Dude. Does Romero even do? No idea, actually. Like, he pretty much like made soundtracks only to like Heroes, like some, I think, some Might and Magic thing. EverQuest 2, I think. Not sure about 1. And I'm not sure, maybe some like the movie scores a little bit, like at least the wiki page. I'm not sure, maybe there's a lot of like behind the scenes stuff there, you know, without kind of going super public about it or something. Got the remake there. I see. Yeah, we'll get Romero on the new Heroes. That will be really good, man. That will be really good. Okay, Twitch glitch, I think. Gets a bit of a dinkness sound. Not the remix we need. Soybean low. I see, and yeah, usually completely opposite in terms of the time when I'm live. Sorta, kinda reverse almost. Yeah, this time I usually, well, with current time zone, at this time I usually sleep already. the ambient. Yeah, that's very nice. I like it. Relaxing. Relaxing. I like this instrument. Like a lot of like like this like Arabic motifs and stuff. I like them. Both kind of chill, or when they're kind of like energetic. I like them, like the like the Arabic Eastern motives. And do this like listening, as in the emotes. They're good musicians. Not everyone, I guess, enjoying the show that much. We got them all, like, out of their work to just record the video and everything, probably. Because I doubt they were actually, like, recording the soundtrack itself that way. Okay, that's clearly, like, just in the... Actually, maybe. Hard to say. They got the cat there sound, too. The cat was walking there. But that's how they were recording, actually. Sandara. Which one is that? There's also some RPG material. Or something else. Cyberpunk music. Dude, yesterday was like the boiler set. Like that shit was lit, man. For the what's the name? Nice and Tight Places. Like, dude, that was really good shit. And that was my jam. Let's see. Yeah, that set was like really good. The best one yesterday, I feel. And the game, like, if it's actually the game soundtrack, like, dude, I'm more interested. I mean, it's kind of like my type of game, really, too. But, like, that sound made it interesting. No, it's Nights in Tight Places. There was, like, I think, fights in tight places right before or something, if I remember correct. And now it's the Nights in Tight Places. Was it in Tight Places or something? I think so, right? No, it was not the... Or was it actually? Or Tight Spaces? I don't remember actually. Nights and tight spaces they are, okay. In spaces, not places. Yeah, it's deck builder basically from what I got, right? Or is it just kind of like the combat with abilities? I think the fights in the tight spaces was deck builder, basically. Yeah, it was kind of long set yesterday, but it was good. That was good stuff. That was the type of musicus I would like in video game. Time zone? No, 4 hours ahead. So it's almost midnight here. So it's gonna be like an hour, maximum maybe 2 for me today, because yesterday was already 5 a.m. Enough. That was already late. I mean, I did 36 hours less than a year ago, so I wouldn't say I'm too old for this shit, but yeah. It's still dank. Quite the studio there. Yeah, it seemed like just the devs basically got the music is from the studio, dude. Outsourced. And the mouse cursor. No.
And we are back. Enceladus, Fretless, Campervan all have demos available right now. Tears of Metal and Sundara are available for wishlist. Go check them out, doesn't cost you anything. Today we'll be giving out keys, Steam keys, as Kate previously mentioned. We have 45 different games that all provide us with keys to give away to all you lovely people watching at home. We'll link the form into chat right now. We'll be doing this over the course of the whole show, so really no pressure. All right, what do we have next, Kate?
Yeah, it was kind of, yeah, also like it took me some time to even notice what it is.
Block, Lurkit. They've helped us to get in touch with creators and streamers who are hanging with us today. Lurkit is an influencer marketing platform that connects over 50,000 content creators with game developers and brands. It's a cool place if you want to increase the marketing performance of your games with global key campaigns, creator programs, paid sponsorships, and much more. Alright, to kick off the next block, we have Arctic Awakening, featuring a deep dive into its sound design with some nice synthesizers. After that, we'll have Death of the Red Ribbon, with a medieval performance in the game itself, and if you look very closely, you'll notice something that you did not expect. Our third game will be Eternal Strands, a world-saving action-adventure where the legendary Austin Wintory will be revealing some behind the scenes on the game's music composition. Following that will be A Guidebook of Babel, a cute puzzle game with a showcase of some instrumental and in-game performance of the game's OST. And we'll finish the segment with Nocturne, a rhythm combat RPG that will be diving into the melodies and chord progressions of the game. Enjoy the show!
Some banger like with the boiler room yesterday. That would be nice. Probably a bit too low, I see.
Hello, Kai. I thought you could use some company up here. Is it all right if I join you for a while?
Sure. Suppose so. Can't let it get too quiet up here.
Oh, the voice suck?
Holy shit, tails go!
2 ago even, huh? Alright.
Hello and welcome to this deep dive into the music of Arctic Awakening. When I first saw the game, it just had such a gorgeous
composer with actual decent microphone
what really
here.
grabbed me was this brilliant blend.
Funny yesterday when it's like, you know, like a bunch of like audio guys and they have like some mega little microphones and stuff and the sound is pretty
adventure. And the contrast between these
come on. Stop it.
Elements got me
thinking
about how I would represent them both.
Dude.
With music.
Come on. Like build up the buffer, but then the Twitch glitch kicks in, fucks the sound, and you need to like, you know, pause and play, and then it starts buffering again later.
So I started the score not with notes, but with instrumentation, building a palette of sounds that could represent the wild and elemental forces of Alaska, and at the same time the high-tech modernity scene in the industrial installations of the game. So I wanted to show you a few of the more unusual instruments on the soundtrack, and this lovely little thing is one of them. It's a chirango. It's a Andean guitar of sorts. It's found in Peru and Bolivia, and to me it sounds like the wild places of the world, especially the mountainous regions.
When you know how to play all the instruments, man.
So here's another instrument I'd like to share with you today. It's the mando guitar, and you can think of this as a soprano guitar or perhaps a guitar in mandolin range, and to me it sounds like crystals and ice.
Playing all the instruments, man.
Okay, Night Fright, something a little more spooky. Man, I love game audio, making music for games, so creative, and I want to show you something I had a lot of fun with here. So I've got some tonal stingers for you now. So these are rhythmically locked events that I can trigger, and they are used in the game as a positive feedback to the player they've done something that they need to. So in this scene, Kai is outside of the aircraft at night and he's trying to scare away an intruder. So he's going to use a burning branch to wave in the direction of this stalker and hopefully scare it away. Before that, I want to show you something that's really cool up here as well. So Alfie, it's the first time Alfie goes into
the production value.
So Alfie can actually light up like a flying torch, and it's the first time that he proves himself to actually be somewhat useful. And it's a brilliant part of the scene because of all the shadows that his moving light in the environment casts. It's super spooky. So let me just show you what happens when Alfie lights up.
Yeah, at this point I'm not sure if it's like kind of distorted on his idea or it's distorted because of the Twitch glitch. After all the buffering, I feel like it kinda is the Twitch though.
So cool. Okay, so now the tonal stingers. So as the player waves the branch into the darkness to scare off this intruder, they hear the tonal stinger to say, yes, you've done something right. Here it goes.
No, some of the distortion is the Twitch stuff. After the
providing the feedback, not a sound
after
effect,
the buffering.
In the soundtrack itself. Here's the final one. Let's go ahead and trigger this one here. Super cool.
And get on the xylophone too, huh? Let's go.
Okay, Vista View. This is something a bit different. Dynamic filters on the 2 synth lines in this composition. This is really cool. So what we're doing in this composition is we're going to track, basically, in the scene, the position of Alfie and Kai relative to the edge of a cliff. Below is a big reveal. And so as Alfie moves toward the cliff edge, we hear this. If he comes away from the cliff edge, we hear the filter come down. And then as Kai moves towards the cliff edge, we hear this. Really cool. So it's louder, the filter's opening, so then we'll put Alfie all the way toward the cliff edge. And finally, we're also tracking the head position. So when Kai actually, or the camera position I should say, so when Kai actually looks down beneath him and sees the big reveal, we are hearing this.
Don't keep me in suspense, man.
I don't suppose your power plant has a giant satellite dish on it?
Giant what now?
I think I just found what needs that power.
Oh, this is quite the discovery.
Hang tight. Gotta be some help down there.
It's actually directed in that, like in such detail. It's even like the dynamic of filters and everything. Yeah, but you little thing predicted, eh? Looks kind of low FPS, yeah, that it does. Probably still some like community versions
so I hope you
and
enjoyed
stuff.
the walkthrough today. Thanks for tuning in and watching. I really appreciate it. If you want to find out more about the music for Arctic Awakening, you can check out joffwinks.com or arcticawakening.com.
Yeah, for narrative games, it's probably extra huge, yeah. The Death of the Reprobate. Oh yeah, this is the dang one. Oh, who was the dev on this one? Was it actually Blasphemous People or was it something else? I don't remember actually. Oh no, that actually, that's not the one, I guess. No, I think, yeah, or is it? Alright, that's a different one then. That's a different, yeah. Mix it up with a different one. A way to think. That's the extra I see. The gushy dancing. The way to think gaming then. Jag ser vad jag kan säga. That's some weighted dankness indeed, eh? Even the musical presentation. The Gachi village there. Hey, boss face. I can think of stronghold now is bullying the bird, man. Why? And the welcome Opis. The streamer piss bottle there, yeah. The infamous one. And dude is also like all the instruments, man. Can't even play a single one, and there they are flexing. It's quite the production value for this video. Looks dank, yeah. Yeah. Got the bird in the end there.
Hi, I'm Austin Wintory, and thank you so much to Save and Sound for asking me to come and talk a little bit about my score for the upcoming game Eternal Strands from Yellow Brick Games. It has been an absolute joy collaborating with this incredible team on this really special game. Thanks so much for checking it out. All right, as you can imagine, given that we're still out ahead of the release of the game, I'm going to have to be a little bit sparing in what I share. So I thought, how about the least spoilery thing possible, the opening cinematic of the game, because it gives a little bit of a taste of some of the principles at work. All right, I'm going to hit play and unpack a little bit of what we hear at the beginning. First things first, that's hopefully, pretty obvious, is we have a big French horn solo, beautifully played by the principal French hornist there in Nashville, who she always does an absolutely phenomenal job.
Yeah, need the listening one. Mentioned instrument never heard of.
It's a pretty standard and straightforward treatment. This score features quite a bit of brass in the big boss battles. This was recorded on its own in Nashville, as I mentioned. Now, in contrast, if I play that again, but I remove that French horn,
now this I think we don't
get
have
a sense of what's left behind.
There it is. No, it doesn't.
So there is a style of Japanese pottery called kintsugi that's quite famous. You probably have heard of it. And the underlying principle of this is that a piece of pottery, after being destroyed and subsequently repaired, is hopefully more beautiful than it was prior to being broken. And so I wanted to kind of adopt this idea as an underlying principle. There's supposed to be a kind of lightheartedness and even joyous quality to Eternal Strands. So the music needed to come from a different sort of place than something dark and heavy like Lord of the Rings or sort of medieval like you hear from so much other kind of high fantasy. And on top of that, there's this narrative conceit of them being in the Enclave, which is a world that's been sort of sealed off by magic. And since this is something that's been sort of broken by way of its separation from the rest of the world, I found myself thinking about kintsugi and going, what if the whole score was built with that in mind as a kind of homage to the environment of the score? It's almost like an extension of environmental storytelling. So I am constantly breaking things apart and then forcibly putting them back together. Now, sometimes this is quite literal. So to give you an example, one of the very first sounds that you hear at the beginning of this is a kind of pulsing guitar. So if I play that on its own, you can hear it like this. So it's a very simple little guitar part played by my friend Tom Straley. We did a kind of custom build where he took one of his guitars and took out all the strings, and then we alternated every other string on it to be of a different material, so that the thing kind of felt like it was almost put together in a junkyard. Because that had a way of sort of approximating this kintsugi quality. On top of that, I then put plugins to do things like selectively take snippets of the audio and randomly play them backward in tandem with the forward signal flow, that sort of thing. If I jump to a slightly later part of the piece, you can actually hear this in a slightly more representative way. On top of that, we also have this beautiful traditional sort of string orchestra that is just sustaining chords underneath the French horn.
The whole orchestra.
Now, it's overall fairly naturalistic, but tucked in there, for example, if I isolate a stereo mixdown of our wides on either side of the string orchestra as recorded in Nashville, you can hear what that's doing is that's taking
it's like
small
recording it
snippet
somewhere
of
in
the
like a
audio
church
and
or
playing it
something.
backwards,
The acoustic, man.
while the rest of it simultaneously plays forward. So you can hear how it's sort of jittering backwards as the form of reverb tail.
Oh, is that one?
I went to London to Air Studios about a year before going to Nashville.
And you were
and
alone?
recorded a whole bunch of custom textures and things like that with a different group of strings. And so that I was able to end up with things that became
watching Steven Sound Show.
our stand-in for traditional electronics, because I thought, well, I don't want to lean into a kind of deliberately anachronistic anti-fantasy by having a bunch of synths. But what could be interesting is if we found ourselves constantly sort of mangling the audio in the way that we're physically mangling the instrument. It's sort of natural, but not entirely. And then mix that with some of these other, where I had the strings constantly do things like reattacking notes out of sync with each other, so you get this kind of undulating, again, sort of kintsugi-inspired brokenness. So it's like a synth pad, but it's obviously built entirely out of acoustic natural elements. And then here, I just shamelessly pitch bend it because it ends up functioning like a bass drop, but it's entirely the manipulated sound of the acoustic strings recorded in London. Now we mix that with another couple layers of that have been heavily processed, and you get a sound like this. So nothing in there is explicitly a synth or electronic. It's all just the manipulation of the sound. Here's another element I want to talk about. I had custom made this giant kalimba, which is an African instrument. Working with my fabulous assistant Shireen, I made a kind of giant library of strange sounds. So like here, for example, she was bending the little tines on the kalimba using a pair of scissors, and you get this kind of texture, which I have, you can hear that passing through this wonderful, weird plugin called Backmask, which takes chunks of the audio and reverses it periodically. Here's one other little ingredient I want to tease out, which is I did quite a lot of recording with my regular trusted partner, Kristen Nagus, who is sort of my woodwind partner in crime. We work together all the time. She's phenomenal. And she had bought this absolute monstrous sub-bass recorder, which you can see here. I took a little snippet of and have that just pumping through as a nice kind of low, heavy gesture. It's like a foghorn. So that sort of thing is used all throughout as well. So when you combine all of that,
Just
you
focus
end
on
up with
the
first 40
game,
seconds or so that
game
sound
music
like this.
The Giga flute, yeah. The Kraken flute.
All right, so there's literally less than 1 minute of this multi-hour score that I've spent years writing, but I hope it sounded interesting to you. Thanks again, Save and Sound, for inviting me, and to Yellow Brick Games for including me in this incredibly special project, Eternal Strands. Thanks so much.
Hey, good morning. Hello.
Hello， 大家好，老朋友们好久不见了，新朋友们初次见面。我们是800号漫游指南的开发团队，我是制作人 Gardner， 我身旁的这位是我们的程序兼音乐 Rick。今天这期视频跟大家介绍的就是我们游戏里面的音乐接下来我们就请 Rick 来介绍几首他最喜欢的游戏音乐吧。
第一首是记忆工厂的背景音乐。
这首曲子是游戏当中玩家初次接触到的几首背景音乐之一。此刻，布雷斯刚从记忆提取仪上醒过来，对周围的一切都一无所知。
第二首是中央车站的背景音乐。
Did they write it like this there in the subtitles?
配合中央车站的明亮的画面，给大家一种很新鲜、敞亮的感觉。那说起来，有没有稍微与众不同一点的曲子？
想到记忆工厂里面还有一个街机游戏机了。
And do be written differently. That is true.
游戏中玩游戏，那我们听一听。是一首相当有复古感受的曲子，很难想象800号上居然有街机，不知道是被哪个人类带上船的。我来说一个吧，遗物鉴赏会上那一首曲子，有印象吗？我们团队的小伙伴都非常喜欢。这个应该算是游戏的故事进入到高潮部分的一首背景音乐了。当时主角们都聚集在遗物鉴赏会上，然后争夺最后的一个神秘大奖。那既然你今天都扛着乐器了，要不我们就试着合成一下这首曲子吧，即兴发挥一下，怎么样？
好，
来吧。哇，瑞克，真不容易，真不容易，辛苦了，辛苦了！啊，在瑞克的辛苦录制下，我们终于完成了我们改编的嘉年华主题曲。那接下来就请大家来欣赏我们这个新鲜出炉的 MV 吧。
Jordi already becoming an expert. Already becoming an expert there. I see, Axel, I see. Did a little traveling.
Welcome everybody, I'm Benjamin Precy, the writer and designer for Nocturne, an upcoming rhythm RPG. Nocturne's story was written before development even started, which allowed us to compose the music in a way that's deeply integrated into the world and the game's mechanics. For example, when you enter combat, every enemy has a unique song, and we compose each song to fit the emotional arc of the story. In combat, we mix a traditional rhythm game with RPG elements. If you miss enough notes, then your enemy will charge up and attack. But hold a combo and you'll charge your own attack. You can even strike at the right moment to land a critical hit. Now in early playtesting, we recognized that fighting the same enemy multiple times could become repetitive, especially if the player feels like they've already mastered that song. So we developed a unique audio system to keep the combat and music fresh. We call this system melody switching.
It seems like for two hands,
but to simplify,
and maybe it also kind of mixed with some other hotkeys there.
Melody, typically the part of the song you would hum along to. Then we have the arrangement of the instruments in the song. We have the chord progression, what chords are played in which order, and finally the overall structure, such as where the high and low energy sections are. Now imagine we switch out the main melody for something different, but keep all the other elements the same. This results in a song that has the same energy and feel, but sounds unique. So we decided to compose three different melodies for every enemy. Meaning, if you battle the same enemy multiple times, you'll hear a different version of that song each time. But we can go further. What if we split the melody in half? If we think of each song as two halves, part A and part B, then we could transition between melodies halfway through. Melody 1A could flow seamlessly into melody 2B, creating another unique variation to the music. In fact, this would give us 9 total possible combinations of melodies. Well, this is exactly what we did, and to explain how, I'll hand it over to our composer.
Hello everyone, my name is Jean-Louis and I'm the music composer for Nocturne. Today, we'll be looking at how to set up the melody switching in WWise. At a high level, it's about moving from one track to another with a system called a switch. Let's look at one example. Here's our list of enemies, and we'll focus on Mantis.
The Huxer is not using Discord.
This is the playlist for Mantis combat music,
or Twitter,
which contains different music segments,
or other things.
A and B. Each segment holds tracks, and I've connected each track to a switch.
Says well being
on
Twitch.
You can see here that I'm indicating to the software
which
segment plays first, and that it should play continuously to the next segment. We also need to tell WWise how to move smoothly between the tracks. This is a combination of setting up our pre-entry point and our post-exit point, as well as a transition rule. In this specific example, the transition needs to happen when segment A reaches its exit cue. At the same time, segment B should start from the very beginning.
I mean, can ask here too, unless you like want to ask Huxer which, like, you know, like the massage salon to go and everything.
To another track,
you know,
as well as continue playing what's after the marker. You can see a bit of music there after the post-exit, and that's because we want WWise to play the tail of that last sound performed. At the same time, it plays the start of the next track. This will help loop both segments seamlessly. And that's it. This is just one of the ways we're working to make the combat music feel more dynamic and less repetitive. Thanks for listening. Back to you, Ben.
And after all that, we can listen to our final result. I'm going to play you a section of our Mantis song. First, listen to melody 1. So pay attention to the notes in this version of the melody. And now let's listen to how it sounds if we switch from melody 1 into melody 3. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive of how we're building a rhythm RPG where every enemy has a unique song with multiple melodies. Nocturne is due for release in 2025. You can wishlist it on Steam today and even download our demo to try out the melody switching feature yourself.
Nice.
Thanks for watching.
And we're back! Arctic Awakening, A Guidebook of Babel, and Nocturne all have demos available. Eternal Strands is available for wishlisting, and The Death of the Reprobate has a demo now, but it's also planned to release on the 7th of November, so look out for that. So, what do we have next, Hans?
We actually have quite a bit more in store. I think we're not even halfway through the show. It's a good time to remind all that all the games you saw
the demo,
yesterday
the rhythm
and that
stuff,
you will see tonight
I'm not really
are all
good with
featured
rhythm
on the
stuff,
Steam sale. We are also live on YouTube and Twitch, hanging out with all you beautiful people at home. Up next, we have The Operator, an incredible spy thriller game with a powerful performance. Then we will have, I believe it's Inculinati, showcasing the behind the scenes of the game's wonderful soundtrack, kind of like a
Inculinati's thing.
And after that, we'll check out a piece from Post Trauma with a tantalizing piano performance. In the second half of this block, as we still have some pieces to go through,
nice.
We'll have Solarpunk, the eagerly awaited cozy survival game with an audio deep dive. And then we'll watch Caravan Sandwich with a wonderfully tranquil performance. And we'll end this entire block with Thank Goodness You're Here, a beautifully animated indie gem bursting with British humor and gags. The great people over at A Shell in the Pit will be going over the game's audio and music design. Enjoy.
There's the Operator. The Operator is a good game. That was really nice. Not a big one, but a really good one.
Do you believe in extraterrestrial life?
I think when like the boss drops there. If it will have it, probably will. Yeah, I finished this one, yeah. Yeah. Few hours of puddle and CSI kind of way. Yep, that's the one. That's the one. Like when you're starting to understand what's happening. I wonder if it's gonna have the drop. That's another thing that probably doesn't have the drop. That's probably like the titles, I guess, or something. This is sure, let's see. We'll see. That one also kind of sold well and everything. Hope they will have some sequel or something. Or something similar. It's a pretty nice concept of the game. Kinda like pretty reasonably sized and everything too. Very nice. Teasing us hard. Like the best track is when you kind of like realize, you know, there's some sort of like mystery, you know, when you reveal the truth. Like that's the drop there hard. The game is not about even about the music, but the music is so good still. Also, a lot of these tracks you just kind of hear on like really small parts, pretty much, unless you like AFK, I guess, or something.
You long to see, but fear to tread. Chaos has no echo, but your own breath. Trace the signs hidden behind lies. lands on the black lake. Yet the sky's wide open.
Come on. Each. Another session. Another session of buffers.
You're scared and weak. Close your eyes, shut your eyes and see.
Oh, now the Twitch glitch kicks in, brother.
The lake holds it all. It
The journey. The Dink movies you watched. The load player button. I think it's still kind of gonna be pretty much the same as like the start and pause. Except maybe the difference will be in terms of odds. But yeah, Uzbekistan doesn't have any odds, so. Flickering water in games? Oh, it depends on the game, huh? When it didn't, no, it wasn't ambient occlusion or something else that is in Todd's games usually fixes it.
Hi everybody, my name is Aleksander Zabłocki. I'm the composer of Inkuinati, and I was also responsible for the sound design and audio implementation for the game, as well as I composed the music for all the game trailers. And for those of you who don't know Inkuinati, it's a 2D strategy game straight from medieval manuscripts, where a rabbit's bum can be deadlier than a dog's sword. In our game, we have many hilarious medieval creatures. Each has its distinct voice and character. When designing the sounds for the Inkuinati beasts, I've considered a few ideas in my mind. Each of Inkuinati creatures has multiple actions and abilities, and they should be covered with sound effects. Each beast has unique style and look, and it should have its own distinct voice.
I mean, it could be,
All of the sound effects should be grotesque and playful onomatopoeias. So I've recorded the beast sounds in collaboration with several voice actors. All of them were humans pretending to be animals. And fun fact, some of the voice actors are Inkuinati devs themselves. Now let's move on to the music of Inkuinati.
Hey, Portable, hello.
For every new project,
good.
Before placing the first note in my DAW, I always think of a musical formula that would define the game's world and that would create a music signature for the game. Because Inkuinati is deeply rooted in European medieval history, I wanted to incorporate some of the traditional musical language into the game. I thought that some of the medieval instruments could serve as the beast's voice extension. Due to Inkuinati's humorous nature, I decided that the music could be pretending to be pompous and serious. That way, it would leave space for the directly funny sound effects. Finally, I wanted to achieve a musical narrative that would give the player a sense of a grand adventure filled with legends, tales, and humor. In the case of Inkuinati, I combined three elements. So the humor of Monty Python and the Holy Grail soundtrack, the traditional medieval music, and the contemporary symphony orchestra gives us the music signature of Inkuinati. Here is a snippet of Inkuinati's main theme called Draw Your Quills. I hope that the theme made you feel that a great adventure is ahead.
Oh, the bars there, yeah.
And here is a fun little statistic for you. About 70% of the instruments that I used were traditional medieval instruments such as bagpipes, cram horns, and different reed instruments. And the other 30% was covered by the sound of the symphony orchestra. In Inkuinati, there are a couple of different game modes. Each game mode has its own music playlist.
Horns indeed, yeah.
In our tutorial, or the academy as we like to call it, the music is very aesthetic. It holds back as the real adventure hasn't started yet. This is just the beginning.
That's not a lot of bars, and then bars grow in.
Once the players grasps the basics of Inkuinati, they will embark on a new journey. This is the single-player campaign, the moment when the adventure begins. While in the journey mode, when the player visits the campaign map, the music conveys a sense of an adventure, but it's also a place of safety. This is the place where you prepare for the next encounter.
That's already more bars, huh?
Finally, we engage in battle. During battles we hear light background music, which gives players a lot of space for tactical reasoning. The music is there to support decision making and to help the brain think. It's calm and collected. Until the final stage of the battle, the apocalypse. That's when the energy and rhythm picks up. The music becomes more epic and dramatic. It gives you a feeling that each move could be your last one.
The actual electronic notebook.
I hope that you enjoyed my little deep dive into the sounds and music of Inkuinati. Thank you for watching, and please enjoy the rest of the Safe and Sound Festival. Take care and bye bye.
Hi, I'm Nicholas Gasparini, also better known as Mew. I'm the composer behind Post-Trauma, a survival horror game inspired by horror games I grew up with. That's why I wanted to capture a very nostalgic feel for the music while still giving it its own character. And today I'm very happy to play for you a special solo piano version of the main theme. The original version of the theme features many additional elements such as drums and strings, so make sure to check out both versions. And now, please enjoy the piano version of Post-Trauma.
Something survival horror there. Wasn't that like a demo or something? I think I've seen that one somewhere already. Bill even played this one. I see what I say. That's good. The motivation. The motivation. It's time. It's time. What's stopping you indeed? Combining space and time. Reasonable. Reasonable. Let's see what I say. Yep, stuff can take space indeed. Stick it on the ceiling with duct tape. Insane. Time to get the second floor going in the apartment. The duct tape. What the dog there? Ceilings are a bit high up for that. See, can get the second floor going in your apartment. There it is. We found it. We found the solution. Senior essay.
Hey everyone, I'm Felix Bachlinger from Only Sound, and today I'm excited to take you behind the scenes of the 2024 Gamescom trailer of Solarpunk. We'll talk about how the music evolved, what tools we used, and the finished production. Before we get started, a quick shout out to my colleague Paul Ster, who worked alongside me on this project and who is the other half of Only Sound, a production company for music and sound design from Germany. Alright, so let's talk about how this whole thing came together. Usually when you work on the trailer, the visuals already exist, and as a composer your job is to write the music
well,
to
for
fit
some
the
bad
image.
shit you can do these
But
days,
in
probably,
this case,
yeah.
it was the other way around. The music existed first and the trailer was cut on the existing music. So we asked ourselves, what emotions do we need to evoke musically? And we identified some key elements, for example, the feeling of freedom and adventure. There's also that technical aspect you have to watch out for, and of course the coziness and like a glimmer of hope for a better future. So from there we were sketching out musical ideas, and I'm going to show you the very first draft we did in FL Studio. It's a piano sketch I created, so let's jump right in.
Come on. Gonna give again to the buffers. Here we go again. Now it's gonna be distorted soon. Let it finish shooting itself. Then I'm gonna restart it. Damn portable. Got all already planned. Got it all figured out already. Let's see. Here comes the distortion.
So yeah, that's the main idea. In the A section, it's basically just in one key, right? It's in minor, but we have this feeling of adventure in the B section because we do what we call a modal interchange. We switched to a major key for a short period of time here, and that gave it this like uplifting moment that we really loved. It was basic sketch down. I sent it over to Paul, and as we'll see in a moment, this is where the piece really starts to take shape. Let's take a look at the session in Dorico. So Paul took this sketch and added a lot more instruments to flesh out the arrangement. And one of the things I loved about Paul's work on this was how he took the piano chords and transcribed them to the Celesta and Glockenspiel, which really like brings out this adventure and floaty feel. I don't know how to describe it better. And remember, because we were composing first, we didn't have to worry about syncing it perfectly to picture. So we could let the music lead the narrative, and that allowed us to make bold choices in the orchestration and composition that might not have been possible otherwise. Let's have a listen to the Dorico playback of the orchestration.
Still waiting for another boiler jam though. That would be Poga. That would be Poga. Here we have it.
Once the orchestration was done, it was back in my hands for the final production phase. Let's jump into the session. Just like a real orchestra, the instruments in this template are grouped by families. So yellow is strings, blue is woodwinds, green is brass, and purple are other instruments like
Moderately
piano,
big
harp, and
orchestra,
choir,
yeah.
and red is percussion, and there these additional gray ones are synth layers. One little thing I want to point out here is a special sound that we designed, like a signature sound for Solarpunk, and it sounds like this. That's really just a woman's choir with some grain delay and pitch modulation. And we thought this compromise of organic and technical sound fit the game very well to catch the interest of the listener right at the beginning. I'm gonna play through the whole thing now so you can hear how the final production sounded.
And not as cheap as people think. I mean, it depends on the places, but yeah, if you go to the warm ones, probably gonna be quite expensive. The whole orchestra. Very clever, hello.
And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me on this behind the scenes look at how we created the 2024 Gamescom trailer for Solarpunk. You can check it out on IGN Germany, YouTube, and I think Dailymotion also. I hope you enjoyed this peek in our creative process.
Insane.
And
it's everywhere.
Thanks again for watching. Enjoy the rest of the festival and see you around. Bye bye.
Bonjour à toutes et à tous, je suis heureuse de vous présenter un peu des coulisses de la musique de Caravan Sandwich. Je m'appelle Élodie Fourneau, je suis compositrice de musique et je travaille sous le pseudonyme Antinomie. J'ai choisi ce nom parce que l'antinomie, c'est une manière de questionner ce qui nous entoure, de questionner la vie. Parce que philosophiquement, cela veut dire qu'il peut y avoir deux vérités complètement opposées et tout autant valables. En gros, techniquement, je me sers de l'antinomie pour rester ouverte et avoir du plaisir à mélanger des éléments qui n'ont a priori rien à voir. C'est quelque chose d'intéressant artistiquement et intellectuellement. Dans cette idée, je vais vous présenter ce pourquoi nous sommes là, la bande originale de Caravan Sandwich, et qui inclut donc cette approche. Caravan Sandwich, c'est un univers post-apocalyptique, mais qui se veut optimiste. À partir de cette vision, nous avons, avec les créatrices, imaginé un genre musical, faire de la pop mélancolique. C'est toute l'idée sonore du jeu. Pour mieux en parler, décortiquons le morceau thème de Caravan Sandwich, Pensée dérobée. Ce qui était voulu pour ce morceau, c'est qu'il soit possiblement une chanson, avec des paroles, et donc en français, pour assumer notre identité, que ce morceau aborde l'histoire du jeu,
Just
d'une manière
in case,
un peu
I mean, why not, I
détournée pour
guess.
ne pas spoiler, qu'il y ait la présence d'une phrase musicale forte, et que des sentiments contraires cohabitent à l'écoute du morceau. Alors, voyons un petit peu ce que Pensée dérobée a dans le ventre. Tout d'abord, ce morceau représente la voix des voix avec son hook. À l'intérieur, on retrouve différentes identités vocales.
I mean the dub? Well, I mean, probably maybe not really confident in the English, probably.
Même dans le choix d'un effet comme l'écho, il peut y avoir une intention narrative. J'adore ce genre de petits détails. En effet, l'idée ici est de faire place à des identités multiples qui ont toutes des choses à nous dire et qui peuvent cohabiter en harmonie dans la différence.
Yeah, the RPG? Not exactly, not exactly.
Les instruments sélectionnés. On entend un synthétiseur complètement artificiel, numérique, qui se mélange à des percussions naturelles, authentiques. Les deux ont leur place, se soutiennent, et je dirais même que la différence renforce de manière harmonieuse l'identité sonore de chaque instrument. On peut aussi parler du mood du morceau. Je suis sur une harmonie de genre tonal, mode majeur ou mineur, on dit aussi que ça sonne de manière joyeuse ou triste. Bon, en réalité, il y a plus de nuances, mais ici, on va garder ce raccourci pour ne pas se perdre. Donc, ce que ça veut dire, techniquement, c'est que plusieurs notes sont jouées en même temps. Et ce qu'il faut savoir aussi, c'est que l'on obtient cette identité par la combinaison minimum de 3 notes. Alors, je sais que ces infos sont très basiques ou peut-être trop techniques, mais je tiens à m'adresser à tous. Je reviens à cette identité de mood donc, musique tonale, accord, 3 notes minimum, et on se sent triste ou on se sent bien, et donc ici, j'ai décidé de ne pas aller jusqu'à la formation d'un accord. Je n'ai joué que sur 2 notes simultanément. Pourquoi ? Parce que ne pas formuler l'accord complet donne un sentiment ambigu où on n'a pas vraiment le chemin d'un accord mineur ou majeur, ni joyeux, ni triste. C'est ce qui donne ce rendu pop mélancolique.
But no, this is not the car. Not the car PG. Even though car is there, you drive it. Wait, it's more kind of like.
La musique thème sert de guide à la données globale du jeu. Et comme toute musique thème, elle s'égrène dans le jeu de manière plus ou moins subtile à certains moments. Et pour le reste, hormis quelques expérimentations dans les radios, c'est une
It's
variation
nice, but there was like a lot of like
musicaux
yapping and
ou
stuff going on.
sonore
At least the
douce,
demo
calme,
didn't get me.
à des
Like
endroits
overall,
plus
it was
sombres.
looking interesting, but then demo was like a lot of yapping and not a lot of actually, you know, like driving and doing stuff. So that did not catch my interest that much. Even the announcement was kind of cool.
Voilà, c'est un petit bout de l'histoire musicale de Caravan Sandwich. J'espère que cette immersion vous a plu. Maintenant, je vous propose d'aller chez nos amis les Renetos pour une interprétation du morceau dans les conditions du live. A tout de suite. Voilà.
C'était top, ça dure.
J'ai des fourmis dans les jambes.
No, I think everything's good on my end, at least. I think. He's not dubbed indeed, eh?
Doing with that mop, boy?
Oh, gosh. I'm sorry, Mrs. Meg. My mum's got me back on the Mercury again.
Give me strength.
Hello and welcome to the audio deep dive of Thank Goodness You're Here. My name is Michelle Del Mundo and I'm from Michelle in the Pit alongside audio directors Preston Wright and Millie Wisar. Together we make up the audio team for the game. In Thank Goodness You're Here, you play as this tiny yellow salesman navigating the quaint British town of Barnsworth.
It's right good.
With around 600 different interactable objects and characters, Preston, Millie, and I have definitely had our fair share of slapping random things in the real world just to capture the right sound.
Do it.
Every object has at least 3 and sometimes up to 10 variations of their bespoke impact sounds.
I said, in arrears? Well, I can try, but it's your wife.
We've had to get pretty creative when designing audio for things that are either super quiet, don't make a sound at all, or simply don't exist in real life. Like the sound of a really long sausage moving through the town, slapping a pie that's so big it exploded out of a pie shop, or a water fountain that suddenly starts spraying fryer oil. On the technical side of things, our audio programmer Nicholas Zhang was able to create a system that controlled character mouth movements with their corresponding audio files.
I feel I'm wasting away out here. My blood sugar's dropping, I can feel it.
This saved a lot of potential manual work syncing mouth movements to the VO. Transitioning between areas of the game involves a dynamic music system that changes specific stems depending on where you are and what's happening.
The northern one, Jordy.
At the game's climax, the characters burst into rhythmic song and you get to play along. Musical sections were made to loop or sustain depending on the progression of the actions made by the player. To add to the intensity, we also had different layers of underlying risers. On the topic of cutscenes, the process felt very similar to editing for animation for movies or TV. Typically, the animation for a cutscene was locked by the time it got to me, and I had to sync up the VO and edit in a linear fashion. One of my favorite cutscenes has to be Raj's existential crisis because of the fast cuts between environments.
It's just too big! Too big!
That won't fit.
No.
Extra, lad.
Too big! This is a family restaurant.
Too big! Too big!
It's just
too big!
Too big! Too big! Just be fair.
Another favorite of mine is A Few Too Many because of the perspective changes, and it was always so fun just being able to listen to the different takes that the voice actors would provide.
No! Oh no. Uh-oh. No.
No.
The game directors Will and James had a really detailed ear for what fit best for each cutscene, and what we ended up with really let their vision shine. Even moving from cutscenes back to gameplay is seamless, because we made sure that the clock bell persists through the ends of cutscenes into regular gameplay.
Oh, you blooming turnip. In for a penny!
So that required some new design iterations just for the clock. The mixing process was a balancing act, prioritizing key characters and objects over the detailed background emitters like insects or birds to make sure that the important moments stood out.
I simply do not like snails at all.
I'm gonna throw things over to Millie so she can talk about her design process.
Hi, I'm Millie. I was co-directing Thank Goodness You're Here with Preston, and I'm gonna show you a session where I recorded some hungry rats eating cheese. For the rat bite, I used some library sounds of humans chewing cereal, and a little bit, the beginning is me chewing peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So it goes kind of crunchy at the beginning, and then my voice, it's pitched up. It originally sounds like this. So it's just me going, and this is me chewing peanut butter and jelly. So it's like softer. A lot of the sounds in the game are recordings
What a
of
work,
us,
dude. What a job, man.
performing the action.
Chew sandwiches and
the
capture that.
combination of
There
library
it is.
sounds. Just making these sounds funny was actually having fun while making them, and kind of like imprinting that playful spirit to our sound design. When I saw this character right here, Jennifer Joggins, I asked the devs if we could add some music so that when we slapped her, you could hear the music that was playing inside her Walkman. So for that, we decided to make some sort of Euro dance music, kind of like from the 90s. And I made this loop. And to make it sound like it was coming from a Walkman, I used this plugin. So try slapping her and see what happens.
As we wrap up this audio deep dive, I just want to say how awesome it's been to share the behind-the-scenes magic of Thank Goodness You're Here. Every sound has been carefully crafted to make the town of Barnsworth feel alive. From the silly slaps of everyday objects to the over-the-top voice lines, our team had so much fun putting this all together, and we hope that you enjoyed this look under the hood and it gives you a new appreciation for the sounds that make this quirky adventure so special. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening.
Don't put in the audio design. Yeah, when you watch this stuff, you realize
Hello
how much
and welcome
goes
back
into
to
it.
Save and Sound, everyone. The Operator, Post-Trauma, and Thank Goodness You're Here are all on sale. Solarpunk is available for wishlist, and Caravan Sandwich has a demo available. What are we watching next, Kate?
We'll start things off with Angerfoot, a lightning-fast FPS where, quote, "The only thing harder than your ass-kicking feet are your ass-kicking beats." Jay Booty will be diving into the game's audio. Following that is Castle of Alchemists, a tower defense game where we'll get to see an upbeat performance and learn more about the soundtrack. Next up is Rangor, a fast-paced deck builder with strategy
Rangor's
meets
doing
chaos,
stuff.
and we'll explore its quirky, energetic soundtrack that keeps you on your toes.
Rangor
After
is
that, we have
dink.
Kill the Music, an intense rhythm-based action game where you fight to the beat with an electrifying performance. We'll wrap the block up with the cult classic Dwarf Fortress, a world simulation game where we'll dive into its music. Have a good time!
Hi, I'm Jason Sutherland. I do the music and sound on Angerfoot. In this video, I'll talk about some of the techniques and design decisions I made in making the music. If you haven't played Angerfoot, I'll start off by explaining how the music functions in the game. Angerfoot is a first-person shooter. You kick through a door in order to progress through a level. You can use weapons that you pick up and also throw throughout the game, but essentially you can kick your way through the entire game. When we started the initial prototype in 2020 for the 7-day FPS jam, Luke introduced me to Gabba and Dutch Hardcore. We watched a bunch of Dominator videos, which is a festival that's popular in the Netherlands, which have huge, insane sets and like facades and stages. It's crazy. In experimenting with the sounds and making the first yet-to-be Angerfoot song, I made a lot of short loops that had a rise in energy in each one of them. They were short melodies, quite simple, but had a sense of urgency, kind of like the drop in the Dominator concert. So I stitched all of these short loops together, and in testing the early prototype gameplay, realized that the kicks were landing on the music loop changes, and from there I felt like this may be a fun way to make the music dynamic by changing the music clip each time you kick through a door into a new room. Each song in Angerfoot is made up of one idle loop and 4 to 5 action loops. All of these elements are playing at the same time, but only one of them will have their volume turned up. The rest volumes will all be turned down, but playing in the same timeline, as if to keep things in time, musically. Action loops are the meat of the song. They're like the song verses. They play when you've just kicked through a door into a room full of enemies. Each time you kick through a subsequent door or go through the next room, the music loop will change between one of those 4 or 5 action loops, and it will keep cycling through, creating like a dynamic playlist essentially of that song. When you've cleared the room of the enemies and you're walking around the room, get into the next door to kick, the action music will fade out into what it was called in idle loops. The idle loop is essentially always playing underneath everything. It's a subdued loop with a lower energy. It can be a variation of the action loops,
lower energy,
or just a simple kick drum.
That's one way to call it.
Most of the time I made it sound as if the idle loop was coming from another room. It's almost as weird, it doesn't make sense, but this is weird diegetic separation of the music's in world, but then it's kind of in your ears, and then it's like in the room again. It doesn't even make sense, it's Angerfoot. It just feels cool. From a game design perspective, it helps players know when they've cleared a room and there's no more enemies left, but musically it helps create the impact when you move from room to room. If the frantic action music was playing all the time and there was no threat around you, it wouldn't give you the sense of a threat when there was one. There's nothing trying to kill you, so it was best to just clear the room, fade out into the sort of more subdued, something that's not moving you forward much. So as long as you're kicking enemies and progressing through the level at a relatively fast pace, the music will accommodate that action. The idle loops are intentionally monotone or lacking melody. It's so that when you switch to an action track, the melody within that track might start halfway through because all of the loops are playing at the same time. The volume is only changing at that moment when you kick through the door, so it could be at any moment in the song. It won't necessarily be on time with the beat of the song. So the idle track kind of hides how many bars have been played or how many kick drums have played, so your brain thinks, oh, that was the right time for the music to drop. It also means it can start halfway through a melody in an action loop and not sound so jarring, because it didn't go from one melody to another one halfway through. There are some exceptions, but for the most part that system works quite well. Because the loops are triggered at any time, I couldn't have any dips in energy or any build-ups within those music loops. They had to sustain their energy at any moment so that when the player kicks through the door, it's halfway through the loop. There's no like drop in energy, it's full pace energy until you've killed everyone in the room. There's a term in music called the shepherd's tone, which is like it's like a scale ascending and descending at the same time, and when they're combined it gives the illusion that it's infinitely rising. As you can hear in this example, the note will rise forever. So you can sit here and kick the door whenever you feel like, and it'll feel like it's on the drop. This was the first song made for Angerfoot. Right, so something that's a common theme in the Angerfoot music is rising notes. So an example would be these 3 sections here. I guess you could call them parts. These would be exported as loops.
Yeah, the game is like super calm.
So I got this little rising note here. I mean, it sounds terrible on its own, but without it,
You get stuck. I don't know how would you measure how far I got there? I
it doesn't
guess.
feel like you're moving forward, or like it feels like it wants to pull you forward. It feels like you're kind of just stationary. But you add this in.
We got a couple of helicopters, I guess.
Like something's gonna happen. Same example here. Kind of like there's nothing going on. You like wait. Bring it up. This is an exception. There's no rising note here, but it's a bit of like a break moment. There's still a rise at the end. Just a little bit. But those quick rises also add a lot of energy and movement, so take those out. Yeah, get the picture. The action gameplay can be incredibly fatiguing to listen to for a long period of time. I think people's stress levels rise when playing this game as well, so I believe it's the result of the frantic music. There needed to be some moments of rest for the players' ears and their nerves. Thinking about Shit City, sort of lo-fi beats with a sinister feel felt right, and it's also kind of the music I enjoy most making on a personal level. That section of the game, although it's not the part that people are most hyped about, I was pretty hyped to be working on that stuff. There were obviously certain elements I tried to include in different gangs and the different regions so that they felt fitting in terms of a sound palette. And although using this approach of making music per gang, per region, even in the gameplay action loops, we ended up just keeping the music quite random. There's obviously certain moments where it's locked in and curated, but for the most part, the music will play any song at any given time, and it could have been intentionally for the debauchery region, but it was like played in the trash region, so everything shared a similar vibe, but you can tell there's elements of specific gangs in some of the songs. That's it. I hope this was insightful and helpful to anyone, and if you played Angfoot, thank you, and I hope you had fun. Thank you for watching.
Enjoy making the lo-fi and the end the most.
We are super excited to be part of Save and Sound 2024 with Cast of Items. To give you a bit of background, Cast of Items is a game that I developed entirely with my friend Halil, and it's our very first project. When we started, I was mainly focused on coding and game design.
Yeah, the shepherd note thing is
You
interesting.
used to play guitar, right? Could you also handle the music? I paused for a second and said, absolutely I can do that. As it turns out, our beta version 1.0 now includes composing 17 tracks and creating a bunch of sound effects. It's been an exciting journey, and getting accepted into Save and Sound with this work means the world to us. So, here is our game Cast of Items along with its music.
Synth vocals too, even. Nice, too nice. And cute and cozy. Feels good, man. 14 there, Nick. Let's see. What do we have now? Shows 15 still. That doesn't sound right. It's like 2 a.m. 15, then suddenly 3 a.m. is gonna be 8. Alright. Friday's already gonna be 1 at night. Right, tomorrow 8 during the day. Gonna be big. And heating is on only on 7, so we need to survive tomorrow with +8 during the day. And then day after tomorrow also. Is not sure when exactly they're gonna turn it on. Why on the 7th? No idea. That's what they planned. Central heating. They decide. They decide. Usually it's kind of like when like the average, you know, temperature during you know like the whole 24 hours is dropping below like 8 or 7 degrees, I think, or something. So like if you have like warm days and cold nights, it might still not be on. That's what we have basically. Like during the day might be pretty warm, but nights are cold. And I mean the buildings here and everything is made the way, you know, to kind of resist heat. It's desert sorta, right? The Oasis in desert, so they're not really like, you know, heating up that much during the day. So you kind of like, they cool down at night hard and then they don't really get warm during the day. Assiste, vai ser. So at least hopefully the heating will be good. It will be effective. No, your onboard is insane. That they played. I need to return actually to it. There was like a bunch of new stuff.
Music composer and sound designer. Welcome to the world of Wrangler, where you play cards at a frenetic pace to survive in a dire world full of weird monsters, heroes, and deck building stuff. As you can see with the gameplay, the game is heavy, dark, and full of amazing pixel art. We will dive in how did we make the soundtrack for a game, going from dynamic music concepts to hands-on how to do electronic bangers for game soundtrack. Let's go! When the devs came to me for the music, they had a really strong idea of what the music would be.
He was quite something, yeah.
You could say I was instantly hyped for it. The game being a game that needs a bit of thinking, tiny bit. We needed the soundtrack to dynamically change, so the player did not have to think while hearing super heavy stuff non-stop. We will go through some of the way we created the dynamic music for the game with an example track.
Yeah, I played this one for a while.
In the game,
yeah, it was nice.
Alternate between two modes of gameplay.
I basically like did everything that was available back then in early access.
Play their cards.
And I don't remember if they released out of early access. I think they did actually. Yeah.
What they will do in the next fight section.
With a bunch of other content, so I need to kind of come back to it.
Gameplay the player was confronted to, so the soundtrack wasn't too loopy. Here is the fight mode, a classical version of the track, basically.
I was unlocking Giga Shot and everything.
And here is the syncing mode, calmer but dark nonetheless. Something to take in mind is that each level had different floors and boss fights. So on top of this layering, we wanted to make the soundtrack more and more intense as the levels went on and each boss fights became more and more difficult. So we added some layers and layers of tiny details. Here is the difference between the first floor and the last floor boss fight. Last but not least, before the fight happens in the game, there is a little transition where the player can think about what they are going to do before the fight starts. A fade in and out would not have been enough for this, since the timing is a bit longer, so we chose to add a transition layer that sounds like this. Now that you know about what were the limitations we had and the ideas that we found, let's talk about the real stuff. Usually, when I was starting to work on a song for a level while the level itself was being worked on, I could not play the level. The devs, in their kindness and love, were super helpful and always answered my weird questions about the game, gave me keywords, gave me artwork, gave me anything I asked for. So I always had the best feel on what the levels would become. This was super helpful to make the best soundtrack for the game. Okay, so let's dive in. How to start a song for Rango. Since we are making heavy electronic music, the name of the game will be Drum Bass. I find myself using this preset for this track. Doesn't sound heavy enough, doesn't it? Let's make it all the details like this little delay in this massive preset will now be crushed and make it so it is heavy to a crisp like I like it. I can then find some groove that I like. For me, groove is super important for electronic music. I don't know, something like this? Then I found some drums in my drum bag. And make them saturated enough and snap them to the bass with the sidechain. And last touch, me. I recorded myself doing some chattering, some voices, and added some effects that made it fit more to this scene that is this town with weird people and weird stuff happening. And here you have it, the first floor of the fighting song for this level. But how about the next floors? And the boss fights? Let's add some layers to this. Melody. Fast keys. And here you go. After making this simple loop, I usually try to work on the thinking part of the song, calmer. I will add my chattering again, keep the bass line but less processed, cleaner, smoother, and add some less heavy drums and maybe even EQ them so that they feel laid back.
Yes, Slavic, I say, do it, man, do it. Sleep well. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Have a good one. Have a good one. You're gonna probably be seeing also like in 30 minutes or so.
That you could not find in the other levels, like those weird choirs.
And the long streams actually killed the battery on headphones. It's about to die soon. And it's already almost 2 a.m., so don't want to sit here blasting all the music here, you know, on the laptop.
That we can hear in the latter levels and the boss fight song.
And I mean, yeah, 2 a.m., so... Gonna be time to sleep.
And voila, here you have a heavy track for the Rangar soundtrack. I hope you enjoyed this little breakdown of how I made the music for this amazing game that is Rangar. Now, go play the game.
Rangar's pretty cool. This one before, also roguelike stuff. What's going to be the plan for tomorrow actually though, on how to do it? Because like the Brighter Shores will be available kinda early. The knobs, yeah. Brighter Shores in approximately 13 hours it says actually gonna be available. Yeah, basically 10 a.m. then. How to do it better then. Starting for like an hour. With the Who. And then do Brighter Shores and then do Stalker. That's gonna be the plan. It's like Brighter Shores and Stalker for tomorrow for sure. But like when exactly who? I'm not sure. I just wonder if like the launch gonna be, you know, the typical MMO launch, or is it gonna be better tomorrow, I wonder. Oh, you'll need to download it also. It's gonna be like released, but I will need to download it. Oh shit, that actually is a bit of a problem then. I know it's a big game, but still. That's where the preload would be nice to have. Well, shit, we'll see. Maybe I'll still just hope on it like day after tomorrow. Okay, don't want to waste time, but yeah, downloading it gonna take a while here. Like I would either need to like do it on the, through my laptop hotspot, but then like it's gonna affect OBS and everything. And directly through Wi-Fi, like the speed is trash here. On like the Wi-Fi from my PC to router is like a really bad speed. I don't know why, even though because the router is like pretty close here, but still. Need to think how to do it then. He'll still try to play tomorrow though. Maybe I'll do Stalker in the morning for like 3 hours or so and then do Brighter Shores if, you know, all the Fiesta gonna calm down already and the game will launch actually. Let's see, Rev, I see. Now actually making that music for the game, is it? He was good. the show's been nice, man. Yesterday was nice, today's nice. Yeah, I would watch more, but you're like another 5 a.m. not really, and you know the headset gonna be dying. And sitting here blasting music through the speakers at 2 a.m. is not a good idea, probably. It was pretty good though. The show's pretty good. John Binder there indeed, eh? Bruh. I'm just hoping I did the Steam discussions for Brighter Shores to see maybe they will like do some preload or something and like do even in Brighter Shores, man. Give us as much as LGBT representation as possible. Brighter Shores is clearly going to be woke. Like, dude. Is this for boomers? The discussions are genre, you know. It's the genre. Old genre. Found Fiesta, man.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alexandra Orlando, and I'm the community manager at Kitfox Games, the publisher of Dwarf Fortress. And I'm here with Dabu, the composer of the Dwarf Fortress soundtrack, to go over some cool facts and some interesting in-depth stuff about the soundtrack. For those of you who don't know, Dwarf Fortress is a simulation game where you manage your group of dwarves to survive in a hostile wilderness. There are two different modes of Dwarf Fortress. Fortress mode, where it's more of a base builder, simulation management type game, and adventure mode, which is more of the roguelike RPG. And both those modes have their own soundtrack. So, Dabu, let's just get right into it. What is the difference between the Fortress mode soundtrack and the adventure mode soundtrack?
I see.
Yeah, I think it was important to make
will you need to
them
redo it every
distinct from each
season?
other, especially because of how different the gameplay is. And so we went with the newer soundtrack. The adventure mode soundtrack has a lot more low end. It has a lot more movement, energy, clapping. It's just fun. A lot more fun overall, whereas the first soundtrack was a little bit thinner, more background, a little bit more depressing.
More depressing to go along with the depressing things that inevitably happen to your dwarves. It's very fitting.
Pretty much. And one of those examples to make it sound
for a little more,
rowdy, more movement.
Yesterday was
adding
live
a lot of
longer.
clapping. People think that they're
Yesterday was longer, but
or
today my headset
flamenco
already
stuff, but it's
dying.
mostly just me in
And
my
I also
bedroom
didn't really
clapping
sleep
over and
that
over again,
much, so
try to make it
I
sound like it's
gotta
a
be
big group
cool
of
with it
people, and I can
in
kind
a
of show
bit.
you what that sounds like. So this song is called Beyond the Gates. Let's just hear that little part.
Gotta get some sleep.
Soloing anything for now.
And tomorrow we go again. Well, tomorrow no show already, so tomorrow gonna be the regular stream. Tomorrow will be the regular one.
So yeah, those are the claps. And if we just solo these claps, they're just individual. It's very simple.
And Dwarf Fortress banging there too.
Don't sound very good. And,
yeah.
And if you remove the effects from that, it sounds even more like me sitting.
Yeah, that is literally, yeah, just you clapping. Yeah.
And then as we layer them. So yeah, by adding more variation, more volume to some, clapping a little harder, a little softer, and then adding a bunch of effects and reverb, it gives this impression that...
Yes, these do. I see. Yeah, I remember back in the day also like redeeming some like keys or something was also like better through the browser. The app was not doing that
and it
well.
really sold the idea of a larger group of people. And so that coupled with the first soundtrack, or the first recordings of clapping, kind of fake it into being a bigger group. That was one thing we wanted to consider, and to add a lot of movement. But another thing that we added into the game was called the stem jukebox, and it allows the game to kind of pick and choose what stems it wants to play, and that way players don't hear the song the same way twice, and different players have different experiences. So the song jukebox system could choose to, for example, play the claps and the drums on their own for a bit.
So you can randomize the OST.
The main guitar. Alternatively, it could have chosen something different, so some other player might get the drums and the claps with the accent guitar. And there's a lot of combinations there, right? Like it could have just chosen to do pads and guitar rather than having the drums kick in.
Yeah, totally. Without the clapping at all, yeah.
And that's another difference with like why the structure is different in adventure mode, was to allow for this system to work. If we had taken the old system with the old songs, it wouldn't have worked as well. So yeah, that's a little bit of the differences there. There's also a new kind of tavern song, which was a fan favorite on the first soundtrack. So we wanted to keep a second tavern song, but have it be a lot more rowdy to fit adventure mode. And I can show you a little bit about that. So this is Sisters of War. And the idea was we have basically the fictional band in the game,
it doesn't have music,
myself and Simone.
The music hater.
We are the Crow Skulls, and we perform around the Dwarf Fortress world, right? Our first performance was in the tavern in Fortress mode, and that was Drink and Industry. And our second performance, we were invited to a castle of mostly female soldiers. A very intimidating place to perform, but
not on the
we
next
did our
store.
best,
I'm
and we really had to sell
sure
that
if
vibe
you
that
can. I
we're in
don't
a
think
intimidating
so.
Castle, and there's a lot of people in here.
I don't think it
And
is
I would have
there.
loved to record a real choir, or record, you know, a group of people and give them like directions, but unfortunately, timing wise, it didn't work out. Budget wise, didn't work out.
Don't think
And so
they
we had to
added that
fake
there.
almost all of it. You'll notice that a lot of these tracks say replace, but we did not. And I am partly the female sergeant that yells out these things, so you can hear.
It's making sure before I buy it. It's on my store. There's like there should be like a search, I think, thingy. You can check if it's not gonna find it. It looks through all the like the library that is available on the Nexus, and if it can find it there, then it's not there for sure.
To do a third take, which is the loudest take, and is stacked on top. So originally this was just supposed to be replaced with something because we had this sample playing.
Yeah, feels bad, man. Feels bad.
And since we never replaced it, I found that the E of the end of this matched with the E of Shasat Faziz.
Yes, so I see.
If you're wondering, it means hail the melody.
7 days ago, there was the FOMO tax also with the early access.
And the idea there is that it's a call of approval from the sergeant, and I think about it a little bit like a mob boss laughing at
I decide, yeah. I pick what to put in the store.
Like, oh, okay, it's cool to laugh.
But the library is kind of like, you know,
in after that
limited, let's put it that way, I
Yeah,
guess.
then the song begins proper, yeah.
Exactly. Like in the beginning, it's just vocals of silence, vocals followed by silence.
Sadly, not everything's on Nexus, far from it. But what's
no
not
one
on
says
the
anything,
store, you
but once
can
you get
do
to
the
hail the
search
beauty
on
or
the
hail the
store,
melody.
and it shows pretty much everything that they have in the library.
Tells everyone else, okay, it's all good. You can kind of join in here. So that coupled with all the stomps and stuff were all samples that we had to either record or find, and you can kind of hear some of these.
So you're clapping in your room by yourself, you're stomping in your room by yourself. It's just a whole lot of rowdiness.
That's my life. So yeah, just adding more and more layers, and then I found this cool like Japanese sample of schoolgirls in an all-girls school, and they were doing this kind of, I don't know, some sort of game, and I cut and stretched and pitched so that it would work and sound like the soldiers chanting something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so there's like a call and response section which allows them to kind of join in, and you get this whole. But yeah, that's kind of a little sneak peek into how these things work, and just how we try to make the soundtracks quite different.
There.
There's a lot.
I mean,
more
we'll see. We'll see.
involvement in the second soundtrack, so that it really sells that adventure mode vibe, which is a lot more fast paced and fun, rather than that kind of slower paced fortress mode.
I think overall the reception wasn't too bad, but yeah,
kind of in your
and the
face.
story,
So yeah,
the story
those are some
apparently
of the
is quite
differences
something.
between the fortress mode soundtrack and the
Apparently
adventure
some
mode
later
soundtrack.
chapters go
Amazing.
full
And
mode.
you guys can pick up both soundtracks. They're on sale right now on Steam as part of the festival. Where can people find out more about your music, Dabu?
Anywhere you can think of. So YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Bandcamp. We also have the first vinyl for the first Fortress Mode soundtrack on sale through Fangamer. Yeah, I'm also on Instagram.
You even got the
on
vinyls
Twitter.
with the
Chef
Dwarf
Dabu
Fortress
is usually my
soundtrack.
handle everywhere, but you can just search Dabu on YouTube. That's probably our most active community.
And we're back! Angerfoot, Castle of Alchemists, and Runcor have a sale going on, and Kill the Music has a demo, and Dwarf Fortress is available for purchase. What can we look forward to next, Hans?
Well, next up, we have American Arcadia, a wonderful 70s story of reality turned reality TV.
Is that one already
Absolute
out
horror.
or not? Like
The
I
game's
like
composer will
hear
go into the
about it.
process of creating the
They
OST and
announced a while
orchestral
ago, but I'm
performances.
still not sure if it's
Afterwards,
already
we'll
out
check
or
out
not.
Jusant, the indie climbing hit game with a beautiful piano performance. Then Symphonia will be sharing an orchestral deep dive with us, and after that we'll have Bits and Bops, who will be showcasing a sick performance of some of the game's OST. And we'll finish this
sound
block
like the
with Tavern
boiler
Keeper and
room.
Fantasy Tavern Building Sim
Sadly.
with a lovely little deep dive into
Which
the
game?
See you
American
later.
Arcadia, I think, was it?
Hello, my
Yeah,
name
American
is
Arcadia,
Eduardo de la
this one.
Iglesia, musical composer and audio designer
Alright,
for
yeah,
the game
someday
American
I'll-
Arcadia.
Will
This game takes
need
place in a
to
fictitious
call it.
70s setting, and it's about Trevor
We'll
Hills,
need
an
to
uninteresting
call it now
citizen
and go
who leads
to
a boring
sleep.
existence. Trevor
It is
has no
time.
idea, however,
It is
that every
time.
aspect of his life is being broadcast 24/7.
Alright, so I'm gonna
One day he
link
finds
it
out that
actually.
his
If